Hello and welcome to the Craft Beer Corner. For today's beer review, we're jumping into a beer from Westbrook Brewing Company. This one is called the 10th Anniversary Peanut Butter Hazelnut Marshmallow Stout. It is an Imperial Stout clocking in at 10% ABV, and it was brewed with everything that's in the name: peanut butter, hazelnut, and marshmallow. And it was brewed as a present to themselves to celebrate their 10th anniversary. Westbrook Brewing Company is based in Mount Pleasant, South Carolina. In terms of label art, it's got a nice clean label design with some elements from what they put in there. It's very typical. I've had quite a few beers from Westbrook, and they tend to do that nice clean design. I like the purple color. It looks very nice, very clean, very sleek. So let's get this cracked. While we're doing so, my thoughts on what they put in this. That's a heck of a great birthday present to yourself. The combination of ingredients sounds amazing. Ooh, very, very dark, very thick. A lot of resistance coming out of this bottle. Let me try to give some aggression here, give it a chance at forming a head. I'll back off, let it do its thing. Yeah, that was the right call. Okay, while that's settling its head, visually, as expected on an Imperial Stout, it is absolutely pitch black. I mean, pitch black, no light coming through whatsoever. Head looked very similar to the last big, thick, heavy stout that I poured, where it almost looks like it could have come off of a nitro tap. This head is just dense and lush and ridiculous. Right now, I'm not getting a ton of aroma coming off of it from a foot and a half away. A little bit of hazelnuts hitting my nose. So I'm gonna get right up over it, even though it's got this dense, thick head on it. Let's just give it a sniff and see what's see. Oh yeah, wow. That smells really nice. You can smell the peanuts and peanut butter, and you can smell the hazelnuts very clearly. The marshmallow, obviously, that's going to add another dimension of flavor into the beer, but it's not something with a very pungent aroma. Marshmallows typically tend to be flavored with just a little bit of vanilla, but I'm not picking up any notes of vanilla. The peanut butter, the hazelnut roasted, and the roasty malt bill is really what's coming out of this. So I'm expecting this to be a dark, rich, decadent beer. Great. For my money, things that I personally like, a combination of ingredients to put in a nice Imperial Stout. Sounds awesome, looks great, smells great. Let's just jump right in. This will probably make a mess in the beard, but we're going to do it anyway. Oh, man. Oh, yeah. Oh, Westbrook. Happy anniversary indeed. Wow. Okay, so they didn't mention anything about this being a milk stout or adding lactose to it. And indeed, it's not sweet at all. Frankly, for my money, I think it's a better beer for it. When you've got these very big, deep, rich, naturally roasty elements to the malt bill, as well as the added ingredients, just let it be a roasty, rich, intense flavor fest. And that's exactly what has happened here. So the malt bill underneath, absolutely fantastic. Very, very deeply roasted malts. This one takes on a little bit of an earthy quality, and there is a slight, subtle bit of coffee-like flavor coming through, but it's not super intense, and it's not smoky at all. It's just rich, intense roast, little bit of a coffee note to it, and a little bit of an earthiness to it, and it's got just a ton of presence and intensity. No smokiness whatsoever. The roasted hazelnuts, absolutely delicious. They taste just like true roasted hazelnuts. That is one of my favorite ingredients to pair in a dark beer, and it's great in this stout. The peanut butter goes beautifully with both the malt bill and the hazelnuts. It's got this natural, nice peanut flavor to it. It's got this rich, roasty undertone to it, so it's really pairing well with that malt bill and the roasty edge of these hazelnuts. The marshmallow in this adds a little bit of a marshmallow flavor up front. It doesn't taste sweet, but it almost presents itself in like this kind of boozy kiss, a sweet boozy kiss on the very front of the beer. So that's where the marshmallows come in play. It's actually the first thing that I get in tandem with the malt bill on first sip is that marshmallow. And it's after a second or so, and the roasty hazelnuts and the roasty peanut butter really start to open up and bind and just progressively intensify in tandem with that roast malt bill. that the kind of layering effect of this beer actually takes place. But everything that they put in here definitely has its own voice. Marshmallows is actually a little bit rare because normally if you're going to use them in a beer, for them to really come through tasting like actual marshmallow, you do have to add some lactose. But it actually does translate into the glass in this beer, which it being so rich and roasty and dark like this, I'm actually surprised and pleasantly so. Very well done on the balance. So that was a lot to take in. There's a lot of layers here. There's a lot of added ingredients. I'm going to jump back in this time, pick apart the body and the mouthfeel. We'll let the flavors re-intensify, see if I missed anything, and we'll talk about this finish. But first sip, I am impressed. I absolutely love it. That's a solid medium heavy body. It's a 10% ABV. It feels like it's got the heft. We're talking high end of the heft for just a 10% Imperial Stout. Feels great. Got a nice presence to it on the palate. Mouthfeel wise, this one feels what I would expect for this ABV range on this style. It's got a good bit of viscosity, a good bit of resistance to it. You agitate around the palate, it doesn't get foamy and it doesn't get super creamy, but you can really just feel the interplay of the resistance and the weight of this beer as you swish it around. Very, very nice texturally. Feels exactly as I expected. In terms of second sip, what's coming through here? Again, just like I got on the first sip, it was that roast malt character in tandem with the marshmallow up front that has this almost boozy sweetness to it, and then slowly over the next few seconds, the hazelnut and peanut butter starts to open up, really bind with that malt bill. These big, roasty, earthy, and just true flavors of what they used really come alive and open up. It's a very big, intense flavor. It's very rich, it's very roasty, and it's got this nice underlying sense of bitterness to it. There's a lot of roast happening here. There's a lot of deeply roasted ingredients, not just the malt bill coming through, and it is adding a naturally nice, roasty, earthy, bitter sense to the beer. Absolutely delicious. In terms of the finish, this one is definitely longer than average. These are very big, very bold, intense flavors, and they do really linger on the back of the palate. What you're left with is really just a residual bit of the underlying malt bill and really kind of an equal mix of the hazelnut and peanut butter. But they are kind of playing second fiddle to just this intensity of kind of earthy bitterness. That's what lingers on the back of the palate of each sip of this. It's this nice sense of bitters. Since you're not really picking up any discernible hop notes, it's nice that we do have a beer this roasty, this rich and intense, that it does let the bitters play into the beer itself, and it's absolutely delicious. I am a really big fan of this one. I think it's tremendous, very well put together, exquisitely balanced. I'm going to take my time, sip on this, come up with my scores. When we come back, we'll get this one ranked from top to bottom. All right, now that we've gotten to enjoy this beer, we're going to get it ranked. This was Westbrook Brewing's 10th anniversary peanut butter hazelnut marshmallow stout, an Imperial Stout clocking in at 10% ABV, brewed of course with peanut butter hazelnuts and marshmallows. Westbrook Brewing Company is based in Mount Pleasant, South Carolina. So this beer was brewed to celebrate their 10th anniversary, and honestly, I thought it was a really great choice to celebrate any 10-year milestone. This beer was absolutely incredible. So we're not going to go through the entire scores, but I will mention the very first one, Aroma. This was the only category that didn't get full points, and it did smell very nice, and you could really smell all of the component parts as well as the underlying malt bill. It just, for a stout in this ABV, having those additives didn't have quite as pronounced of an aroma that I thought that it would, and certainly compared to other beers like it. But it was above average, so the aroma does get a 7, and it swept it in all of the other categories. So a perfect 10 out of 10 for taste, body, mouthfeel, finish, head and retention, appearance, balance, feeling, and the intangible, my subjective thoughts on the beer, and also as an example of the style, which does bring the total score on Westbrook Brewing Company's 10th anniversary peanut butter hazelnut marshmallow stout to a 97 out of 100. All right, so this was one I had been saving, and I had a suspicion it would be really, really good, and I was not disappointed. If you're a fan of big flavored stouts, this one was absolutely incredible. I love peanut butter beers. I love stouts in general. Hazelnut is one of my absolute favorite additives in a dark beer, and this just had so many of my favorite ingredients in it, and it was so well done. This is a top tier flavored stout. If you see any of these still sticking around, you definitely want to grab one of these. Folks, that's today's review. As always, I do sincerely appreciate you tuning in today. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you want to stay in the loop when our videos go live, just turn on your notifications, hit that bell icon. It's right next to the subscribe button. Until next time, keep it beer, keep it craft. We'll see you on the next one. Cheers.